Yeah, good. Susanna W. Wow. Nice to see you, Susanna. Yeah. Anu, Raven, Eric, Ernie, Rick, Stephen, David says okay. I'll hit that. uh, Steve, San Diego. Yeah, Mia, Amelia, the dog, the cat.
It's da dog. B-A. Da.
Oh, Cliff Edwards from Chiang Mai. Nice to see you, Clifford. Very good. Well, Clifford, nothing's changed. Yeah. Uh, okay, well, welcome. If anyone's new, just let us know. Let's go to it. If anyone has any questions, you want to ask now or hold your peace. All right, well, okay, so why can't we just, if we are what we're looking for, why can't we just be ourselves? Yeah, because there's something going on. Yeah, our self is in the realm of the unreal. Yeah. When we wake up in the morning, first there's a waking up, and then we wake up. We are the manufactured point. As Ramana said, Raman Maharshi, there's a presupposing of a non-existent thing being an existent thing. Yes? So we say it with, you're never going to be a self, you're not becoming a self, but the head already has you as a self. Yeah. So you feel like a self. And that's as, it doesn't seem to be it doesn't need anything more than that. It needs just a sense of the individuality to have you planted as a historical thing. Yeah. And so everything when we're thinking, uh, the thinking is of that idea, yes, of the non-existent thing, being an existent thing. So when we try to get into the deepest alley that alley can know, it's still in alley. Yeah, yeah. You're the pool man, the depth of the pool, the one who dives into the pool. It's all alley in a sense. So obviously they probably just did that. They said, well, there must be something else. And after they've looked and looked, they've decided maybe it has to be me. Why is it that I don't have that sense? Well, because there's something that you're not has, in a sense, in time, replaced the sense of you, yeah, or the reality of what you are, which is being ourselves reality. So, first things first, that idea has to be negated, yes? So, as Ramana has said, the only requirement is to see the unreal from the real. Yeah. That implies that we've been looking for the real from the unreal. Yeah. And therefore, when we're looking for the real from the unreal, uh, it's always going to be at arm's length. Yeah. Because instead of you arriving, you just keep pushing it more and more into a future. Yes. But the recognition that you're not that is the only requirement necessary, as Ramana presented it, which is to see the unreal from the real. Yeah. Because The head is regarding the unreal as the real. Yeah. Not you, the head. So the mental processes are that which is presupposing the non-existent thing to be an existent thing. And then that existent thing, all the while, really is a mistake. So the existence in us is taken to be us existing, as a thing. But obviously, when existence seems to leave you, something's left behind, isn't it? Not a note, but your body, the body. So something is always left behind when you leave. It leaves something as not you. I would say that's the non-existent thing that all the while we've been taking to be an existent thing. We haven't. We're just an awareness in a sense, but the head, we're living a subjective dreaming. The head is just projecting a lot of shit and perceiving as if it's real. That's what it's doing. So it's the head trying to get out of the head, which is more head. Yeah. This isn't about a subtle escape. You see that you were never in that which needs to escape. You just do. Yeah. It comes to a conclusion. Yeah, you've gone as far as you need to go, and things stop. And like Ramana in his writing, and not his writings, but the writings about his teachings, would talk about how far you can go, and then you stop and you sort of put the ball down, and then grace does the rest. Yes, if you want to know. So you can only go as far as you can, and then the move there is to stop. Yeah, and just be still. And then watch what can't be still. And what can't be still is not of you, because at least you've been given a clear direction to look at what things are coming and going. Yes. And instead of greeting it as you and saying goodbye as it being you, you say, I'm not that. Yeah. And after a while, you don't even say it. There's just there's a knowing that you're not that. At first, you need to get knowledge about what you're not, but then there's a knowing you're not that. Yes? You don't need I don't know how much or how little knowledge you'll need, but it will trigger the unsuspected knowing that's already here. Yeah. Yeah. And so finally, blue will be blue and red will be red. You'll be established in actually what's going on, and you'll be seemingly in it, but you're not of it. Yeah. And so the head has an idea of you as the observed and as the observer. You're neither of those. You're not going to be a third head that says something to you. All right, I've waited long enough. The real you is appearing. No, the real you doesn't ever appear. It doesn't appear as a thing. Yeah. And the idea that something that is only an appearance has to be destroyed or disappear for you to get somewhere is just ridiculous. Yeah. All you need to do is see the appearance as not real. It doesn't need to go away. This is the dilemma. The head continues on its story. Yeah. While all the other squares of the zoom are just absorbed in a brilliant light, the head is walking around and looking for where it puts its phone. Yes, that's what it's just you know, you have reached the clarity of all clarities, but you're not clear about you put on you put on two color socks. Yes, you're just sort of out to lunch, and uh, I thought that was me. You see, if you believe it had to change, you thought it was you. Yes. So it, there's a whole lot of what you think is you that ain't going to get it. Yeah. It just doesn't get it. And if you have a measurement of where you are at based on how much of you has gotten it, you're always going to be disqualified because it's going to keep on tripping. I mean, tripping over shit, not tripping over shit. And yeah. So, but the the idea of quitting it isn't that it stops, you just lose interest in its going. Yeah. Yeah. And it doesn't kill it, it actually brings it into a much clearer perspective because it's been overridden with a lot of interest and attention. It's called any life run on self-will can hardly be a success. Yeah. So uh, that's a conclusion they came through going through the hallway of shit and fans of addiction. Yeah, they came to a realization that any life run on self will hardly be a success. Yes, yes. So there's a will, but that will is going to be driven by something. Yeah. So the will is going to be pushed by a driver. And in recovery, we have two possibilities, either trusting the infinite or trusting finite self. That's basically what gives the direction of the will or the faith and everything. Yes? So it's either self will or what you want to call it God will or Buddha nature or whatever. But there is a distinct difference. And one of them is seeing the unreal as real, which is the self, yeah, the idea of self. It's part and parcel of that whole thing. It's not a real observer seeing it as unreal. As seeing it an unreal, it's not a real observer seeing something as real. It's an unreal observer seeing an unreality. Yeah. Now, that unreal observer will say some days that it has seen the unreality of everything, but it will be still lending reality to itself. Yeah. It's like the story of a lady who shared with me that she had lost her ego, but a lot of other people's ego was bothering her. Yeah. So it was sort of like, and then remember, I don't know if it happened with you, when I was introduced to acid, uh, there and other people who I had done it with had the same description. They had the idea they saw everyone as plastic people, but the one excluded was them. Yeah, me or them. You were the only real person seeing all the plastic people. No, in this unreality, you're included. Yeah, you're not the reality as this seeing the unreality. Yeah, you're as the reality as somewhere here, seeing this as part of the unreality. Yes, yeah. It's like the thing he had Ramana about you're in a movie theater and you recognize that the movie's phony. It's not a real life and stuff like that. And then you think, oh, you've really seen it, but really you the aperture expands and you're included in the movie. So the audience and the movie are both included and it's not real. Yeah. So a lot of people get the experience, oh, I've seen the unreality of everything, but there's a subtle sense of being reality. Ramana says the circle always captures you in it. Yeah. You're never outside the circle. Yeah. So so you really truly stop looking for what you're looking for. Yeah. You just stop looking for what you're looking for. Yeah, you stop looking for that which is what is looking for. Or however I said it. I lost it already. But I know you just stop somehow. Or it can come to a screeching halt, or it may have some momentum, but it dies down. Yeah. So the real effect here that you're gonna see in realizing the seeker is the sought is the seeking. Yes. Yeah. If the seeker is the sought, it's not going to be the captain or the manager of all the seeking. Yeah, you're going to lose. There's going to be a big loss of interest in it. Yeah, And now you're here completely, wherever that here is. Yeah. Yeah. I hope this doesn't help. I hope it really keeps confusing whatever mental logic's trying to think it can grab it and realize it. Yeah. It's always going to be out of your reach. So reach away. That's the beautifulness of it. You're attempting to reach it and get it and understand it and capture it and tame it and integrate it or absorb with it or merge with it. It's impossible. Yeah, because you already are it. A lot of shit would have to be undone that can't be undone for you to do it. So, so, so you relax, whatever. I don't know how it's going to look for you. I don't. Yeah. Judy Love may grow like 12 foot of hair in a month. You never know. Anu may move into a cave, hopefully not air conditioned. Stephen Mack will just keep realizing on having never left. So it's going to be like Groundhog Day. In a beautiful way. Allie will be planted and become a hedge in a house in Beverly Hills, but that's not going to do anything either. I'm going to see Alan Olson and he'll always be smiling because he hasn't gotten it, can't get it, never will get it. Yeah. Yeah. Clifford, nice to see Clifford in Chiang Mai. Uh, hmm. All right. Well, if anyone has any question, if you look at that statement, it's one of the most emphasized statements in Ramana, which is that presupposing of a non-existent thing being an existent thing and then wanting to get salvation for itself. Yes? We're saying it in a similar way, which is there is never going to be a self, or there never was a self, but in the head, you already are a self. So the presupposing of the head, yes, has you as already, you already are a self. That would be the existing thing. Yeah. So we're at the point, we've missed a very important point of the clear recognition of the non-existent thing, and we actually start at us as something being taken to be the existent thing. That's where we start. Now, we can't go before that. Yeah. That's why everyone keeps moving this way. They're always trying to arrive at somewhere because as this, you can't back up out of this. Yeah. All your thoughts are anchored with this idea of being the existent thing. All the perceptions are there to reinforce that. The brain is interpreting it to the body of which it is a part. Yeah. The whole system. And you may believe you're the ghost in the machine, but that's part of the machine in a sense. Yeah. Yeah. There is no ghost in the machine. The machine is a non existent thing. Yes. Yes. So I came to a conclusion or was brought there that you cannot think out of the box. You just say that you have a certain size of a box, and then you prove that you can think out of that, but you're in a bigger box. Yeah. And wherever you are, there is a box around you. Yeah. You're never going to be outside the box as that which is in the box. So that's awesome because it will really start, not only stop the movements to try to understand and get, but turn off the engine, literally. Yeah. Now you can see an engine or a car that's not moving, and if you put your hand on the hood, it's still very fucking hot because it's idling. Yes, it's still on. Yeah. It looks like it's stopped, but it hasn't stopped. But non-duality is truly a stop. Yeah. It's be still. And then be still you'll see that which takes that as an order, yeah, and you'll recognize that's not you. Yeah. Something your being still is the response from what we are. You will see the reaction from what you're not. Yeah, it's going to be still as an order that it can't do. So he'll try to sit still and it will break in a 30 seconds or a minute or two. It's like, those times where whoever blinks first. Well, I'm telling you, what you're not's going to blink first. Every freaking time. If you can just sit and don't go along when it goes, let's go. No, don't get when there's a call to arms, go AWOL. Don't go. And you'll you'll see it constantly has to look back because without you, yeah, nothing goes. Yeah. And now you're being still. And it can't. Yeah. Now the head has told us that if you had the right conditions, physical, emotional, spiritual, financial, romantically, then you would be able to enjoy peace. But it can't enjoy peace because it's agitated. The head is agitated. It has the duality of desire and aversion. It's constantly trying to become and unbecome. Yeah. It can't stop. It's like a slinky gone mad. It just keeps slinking. Now it will say, after you fulfill all these requirements, we will sit still and enjoy peace. It can't do it. It can't do it. It doesn't comprehend the word serenity. It doesn't know peace. It doesn't even know what communication is. Yeah. It doesn't know a lot of stuff. Yeah. Now it has a moving and trying to keep looking for it because the way it looks, it postpones the finding. Yeah. On and on and on and on. So when you actually sit still, it can't. And when there is a movement, almost as if you are watching a sky and then something leaves the bush and goes in, yeah, you notice it, and instead of shooting it, you see it's not you, yeah. And then these umbilical cords that, when not noticed, were just connecting you constantly to this non-existent thing being an existent thing, sort of get recognized. They don't even get cut because they were never that strong to begin with. Yeah. But then the intellect moves and you don't. The logic moves and really gets turned up and you don't. Yeah. It's amazing. And then you really have, not only have you seen the emperor with no clothes, you're convinced that no matter how much clothes it wears, it still has no clothes. That's very cool. The first one, because it's not all the time, so it'll become a phenomena and you may want to try to get it again, yes? But when you see the emperor with no clothes, you can be brought to a conclusion that it doesn't have any clothes, no matter how many clothes it's wearing. Yes? Just like you don't believe anymore, a sense of individuality implies or verifies there's an individual putting out that sense. Yeah? There is no individual that puts out the sense of individuality. The head makes up a sense of individuality to imply that there's an individual. That's what it does, because there's no individual. Yeah. So Ramana would said in a great thing. This one always moves me when he's fielding another question about predestination or free will. Yeah. And then they even got a little slicker. They said, "Is there free will and predestination?" Yeah. So he doesn't say anything to answer that. He just says if there is a sense of individuality, there'll be a sense of free will. Does a sense of free will verify there's free will? No. Your action figure is going to have a sense of free will because your action figure is like the perfume jar for the scent of individuality. It's what's holding the perfume of the head. Yes. So the sense of individuality does not make an individual, but in the head it does. So it is the presupposing that when there's a sense of individuality, that there's an individual. That's the presupposing. When there's a sense of free will, there's a person who has free will. That's the sense. Yeah. It uses a feeling or a sense that it can produce to imply something as a fact that it can't produce. Yeah. There's never been a self, there's never gonna be a self, but that you can sure feel like there already is one. You can. That's what it does. That's the smell, the scent, that's what it does. So he says, if there's a sense of individuality, there will be a sense of free will. Yeah. Now, what a lot of people do, I find, a lot of us, is the sense of individuality has already worked. We feel like an individual, and we have a lot of importance in this idea of free will because if I'm not choosing what I'm doing, then whose life is it anyway? It sort of upsets the apple cart of individuality, hugely. It's a necessary component of a long-lasting, independent, separate thing that you would have choice alone in and of yourself. Yes, but it's like some people. I was speaking in Ireland, and these people came in on the last day. They could come in for free. So some people came in, and they go, I listened to you, and you sound like that it's easy to get that there is no body, but to me it seems impossible. And I said, yes, as a body it will seem impossible that you're not a body. That's exactly how it works. Yes. Yeah. The only thing that wants to get out of the body is a body. Yeah. Things that are not in a body do not want to get out of a body. They're not in a body. Yeah. See, this is the dilemma. People try to maybe, I'm going to stop trying to get out all the time. No, the real relief is seeing you're not in. Yes. Yes. Because it'll always be an out. Subtler, maybe subtle, but there'll be an out because there's a belief you're in. Yeah. But this is really negating the reality of the in so that the drive to get out gets dismissed. Yes. So non-duality really definitely just negates the reality of in, and therefore that drive to get out is dismissed. Yeah, pretty good. Yeah. So anyone? That's. I think that's a good enough point to stop at. Remember, there is where we're in now. There's some qualities. One of them is time. Yeah. And obviously, it's easy to prove it's subjective because if you're having fun, it goes really fast. If you're not, it's going really slow. Yes, that should be a hint, really. But so in that sense of time, uh, there's things that happen, and there's in like Hinayana Buddhism, they have something called dependent origination. So everything that's appearing in this dreaming has to depend on something else appearing in the dreaming. Yeah. And we are appearing in the dreaming, and we're the something else that's these things originate from. Yeah. This dependent origination. You just see enough and things will change. Yeah. If you don't feel like you can see, satsang will bring you a pair of glasses. It will. Yeah, they're not there to replace your eyes. Your eyes have been forgotten, so to speak. So we need to use the pair of glasses. So we have to put the pair of glasses on the eyes that only see the world. Yeah. And hopefully see a dualism that's not in a world, but projected from where we're sitting. Yeah. And then to recognize that subject objectness of the event that is called a singular thing, but it's really a dualistic event. Yeah. And to enter that bloodstream, the non-duality message. Yes. Yes. So you can start seeing what you're not, and there'll be a point that you're not that. Yeah. Even though that's the fact, here you'll come to a point where it will become a fact for you that it's not you. Yeah. Yeah. And then that, wet dream of spiritual seekers, a stabilization, sort of a stabilization actually occurs. Yeah. But you're not that interested in seeing if it did or not. But this sense uh, of not being that is convincing. Yeah, it spreads. Yeah, you don't have to go into every room and chant it. It will go into every room. Yeah, it will just spread. And you will be brought to a lot of points of being convinced. Yeah. And then, being, in the head of the tigers, being in that, your head being in the tiger's mouth is quite comfortable out in a sense. Yeah. Yeah. It's like our friend Tommy was here last week and he was looking into some air conditioner to work on it. And it was a really tight thing. And he put his head in there and he couldn't get it out because of the ears. Yeah. So it went in smoothly, but getting out, he couldn't because the thing edge hit the ears. So don't worry, you're in the tiger's mouth. No, you can't get pulled out. I would have liked a picture of that. He's just stuck there. Oh, it went really well. I can't seem to back out. I forgot these two appendages, ears. Yeah, so what I was trying to get at too is just the idea of time. I find uh, processes are of time. Yes, obviously. So a process is not an eternal process. There's no process, then there's a process, and it's meant to lead and produce an effect. Yeah. So I humbly feel the mental states process of selfing uh, is quicker than my human consciousness in a sense. Yeah. My being conscious as an action figure puts me a couple of seconds after the movement of the head. So the head claims something, and that something that comes out of the claiming is the doer, the hearer, the feeler, the taster, the toucher. And I don't believe that you can try to undo that with a process because there'll be a feeling of being a doer trying to undo it. Yeah. So again, it's a sense of doership. You're not a doer. There's a sense of it. Yeah. There's a sense of doership, thinkership, feelership. All these things are going on, but we're placed before them. And now we have a lot to do with them, even though we don't really seem to know we have a lot to do with them. Yeah. So there's the doer, the feeler, the taster. I believe that happens so fast that the next process, if it was meant to try to change that, is infected by the first process. So what will try to change it is a self. And then we talk about this in recovery as self can't get out of self. Yep. So once there's an establishment of the self, of course, it's going to want to get out of a lot of stuff. And a lot of what it wants to get into is getting out of something else. But self can't get out of self. So the alley and the Paul that is manufactured by the system that's represented by the non-existent thing, yeah, taken to be an existent thing, cannot think outside of that. Yeah. Its looking is defined with those blinders. Yes. Yeah. So really the only conclusion you can come to when you see this evidence is that failure is the only way to success. Yeah. To recognize you're never going to get it. You can't figure this freaking thing out. You can't stay still by doing. You can only be still by not doing. Yeah. And so these things are beyond it, or actually before it. Yeah. Yeah. So what's the point? Yeah. There used to be a joke with all these bodybuilders. Gravity always wins. So they have all these biceps, and now they're coming down here. That wasn't their intention. They wanted these muscles to stay here, but over the years, it drops here. Even the clearest blue eyes of a a spiritual person are gonna dull out when they get older. People who are seen to be enlightened may seem to be today having dementia. Yeah, because our recognition of something was mistaken. We thought the thing was enlightened. Enlightenment may be moving through that thing, but so did dementia 30 years later. Yeah. Yeah. So I just don't believe that you can get before if you're the after. And we are really something that's manufactured in time. How can the non-existent thing be taken to be an existent thing? It could only happen in time. Yeah. We could be fooled to believe something in time. That would be ludicrous if there was no time. Yeah. So, hallelujah. I mean, to me, non-duality disarms, 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 disarms. It never becomes a call to arms, at least in 20 something years, 30 years now. Yeah. It's just every time you make a vow or you do that, it just takes the floor out from underneath you. It really does. The floor. It just pulls out the rug. It's so beautiful. Every time you get, all right, I'm gonna get clearer or something, it just pulls you right out. You fall on your ass, and you're the butt of the joke once again. Thank God you're not, but yes, yeah. So. Uh, Nothing's going to be new next year in this non-duality. You could probably play a talk from 16 years ago, and I look a lot better now, much more handsome, but there would be very, very little difference between what was being said. Yeah. That was before Grecian formula was introduced, and some home care plastic surgery I shouldn't have done. The lighting wasn't good. I was just trying. Yeah. So yeah, I rest the case. Yeah. And you know, you're not that which wants to get it far out. Yeah. Let it keep going to get it. Don't try to stop it. The greatest teaching is that. Yeah. And it's the most beautiful reason why you are it. Yeah. It's not all the other reasons your head has to cover up the failure. You know, I didn't do enough. I blah, blah, blah. No, you can't arrive at where you've never left. Yeah, it's impossible. That's the great news, I feel, completely. And you can actually, it's almost like a tuning fork. Because it's a tuning fork, it's going to be a little off, but the tuning fork of the action figure can get pretty close to being still at times. Yeah. Because a lot of the movements it was representing have come to a dead end. Yeah. And the going to find that there was somewhere you were leaving. Now, if there's no going, the presence is wherever it is all the time. Yeah. Wherever you thought you were, how far you thought you left, you haven't left anything. So, but it's much more noticeable when you're still than when you're constantly moving. But it's necessary to see you're not that which is constantly moving because it will keep moving. Yeah. It's not that it stops, it's that you lose interest in it because the glamour and the attraction of it being you gets broken. It's like a trance. Yeah. Yeah. So, all right. Thank you.
Paul, if you don't mind, I'll take a second to remind everybody about on the website, in the archives, there are some old videos and recordings of your talks that are being posted.
Yes. Our archivist is
The
here.
archives. It's a really cool thing that's happening there.
Well, we have one we did spoke at an AA convention in Maui. Probably my first and last time, unfortunately. And then another one from 20 years ago. Uh, I don't know what it was on a cassette, and so they digitized it. I think it was 2008. 2008? Oh yeah, so 2008 and
No,
stuff.
2000.
No, 2000. Oh, so 25 years. Yeah. Yeah.
2005, there was one from too.
Hmm?
2005, that year had something posted. I forget.
Yeah, I would think, and then I was in Malaga and we did some talks there, Spain, and that was 2010. Yes.
They're really enjoyable. I've listened to them and I just wanted to mention that. So
I'm
people
afraid of those things because I think people think I'm much better back then than now. I don't,
that
I'm losing it. Isn't
You
that
were.
there you go.
I don't think
I
so,
was
Paul.
on fire.
I
Now I'm
don't think
like a briquette smoldering.
What happens when
that's
you cut your hair?
that's Steve with his hand raised. He'd like to come in.
My charcoal is a little gray, my little briquette, yes.
Hey,
Have
Paul, real quick,
it-
where is that being posted on the website?
It's under archives, yes.
Okay, great. Thank you.
The Maui thing was cool. A couple thousand people there and it got me jacked up. So, yes. Fire and brimstone doesn't go well usually, though, for too long. No, no. Mm. But sometimes they always make the mistake of inviting me once. It's corrected quickly, but
You're
it's not there.
you're gonna have a new nickname, One Time Paul.
One time, Paul. Yeah, it's all right. Yes, that's all it takes. Yeah. The whole thing is your ability, not yours, but the ability to entertain possibility isn't the limitation isn't the entertaining, it's the possibilities. Yes. The ability to entertain is severely limited by the lack of possibilities that are available. with a self-centered view. Yes. So it's always a great thrill to be able to entertain, to present other possibilities. Yeah. So the system, that aperture, though seemingly fixed, moves. Yeah. And it's not more seeing, but it's seeing more. Yeah. So this happened with me it left an impression in this stretch of time. When I was young in recovery, they talk about it as we were defeated by this idea of self, yeah, through its manifestations. So something manifested in our lives through us, but wasn't us, yeah. That's how I've seen it. It's foreign. Yeah, and then this one, but that didn't come about in my head as tactile to about 7 years of sobriety. Even though I was defeated mercilessly and had been in abject faith in the head, which put me into a spiritless servility. And I had visited incomprehensible, pitiful demoralization many times with that guidance. Yet still the bondage of that self seemed to be secure because didn't have any, there was no possibility of entertaining anything else. Everything I entertained was from that. Yeah. Yeah. And then I was reading this part of the big book of AA because I had a privilege of presenting to lead these workshops there. And I saw this sentence, and in recovery, this small s is what has defeated us. In Hinduism, in Ramana's way, the large S is everything. It's all that. It's the absolute, whatever. But the small s, I feel, represents a compilation of mental processes that can bring you places and shit like that. So there was a sentence. It said, "Being convinced." Yeah. So that self manifested in various ways is what has defeated us. Yeah. I saw self as foreign to me super clearly that night. Yeah. Never to have it changed since. Just saw it as foreign. The next day I spoke somewhere and in recovery, and I presented the idea of a parasitical movement. Since then, it's like 30 years ago. That has never changed. That difference between us and self is like a vast space. Yes, I just don't, and I truly believe this identification as self, not you doing it, but it going on without any response, really, more of a consent or manufactured consent. This act of being identified as self is what defeats us. Yeah. And this underlying point of non-duality is what's looking is what we're looking for. The name of that which is looking for is self. Yeah. What's looking is us, let's say. Yeah. So we're using what's looking to look for what's looking. Yeah. Obviously, you don't need to expand on that much. It's self-explanatory. You can't use the Buddha to seek the Buddha. It's just a simple, obvious recognition. No ifs, ands, or buts about it. Can't be slicker and do it. You can't be clearer and do it. You cannot use the Buddha to seek the Buddha. Can't use big M mind to seek mind. You can't use light to seek light. And just watch what does and recognize it as not you. You don't stop anything. You just now, instead of owning it, you give it to what owns it. Yes? By saying, I'm not that. Yeah. Be still is beautiful because that which can't be still will show its nature. And its nature is agitated. Yeah. has a deep dis-ease and it's irritable. That's not our nature. That's its nature. Yeah. So I feel I heard recovery and I've lived those principles the best I can. And they've set up a life for me that allows me to stay sober a day at a time. So a lot of what used to fill up my days is absent. Yeah, which is awesome. Yeah. And then down the road, I heard non-duality. And non-duality to me is not a path to illumination, but it will illuminate whatever path you're on. And a path could be being a carpenter, or for me, being sober, action figure. Yeah. It's brought a lot of light to the illuminating path of recovery. Yeah. Not taking anything's place. It doesn't need to do that. Yeah. It's not non-duality and then something else. It's just non-duality. It's a negation of an always available at all times affirmation that you do not need to affirm. You need to negate something. And in that negating of something, that's the affirmation of what you are. This affirming of what we are as what we're not doesn't work. It just affirms what we're not more. You have to see it. Yeah. Yeah. What's affirmed constantly doesn't need an affirmation. It doesn't. Yeah. Like Jay Ramana says, that which is always realized is not realized. What's realized is the unreal. You are the real. You don't realize that. You realize what you're not. And then there's the immediacy of being what you are. You don't become and then start being, there's being it's like that's it. It's always been this way. And it's a lot of times this other way going on. There's like two shows. One doesn't stop the other. Yeah. Really. The myopic denies the panoramic, but the panoramic view includes the myopic. Yes. There's no battle between light and dark there. Here there may be a battle between light and dark. But in that, there's no battle between any light or dark. Yes? There's just sizes. There's space and things appearing in space. The things appearing in space don't take up all the space. The space never loses any of its space when something appears in it. Wow. Yeah. So I'm happy to be here. Thank you for coming. Yeah. Knowing it or not, you're all lifetime members of Zen Bitch Slap. It extends past the termination of the non-existent thing. It does. That's when it's probably going to pay off the most. Yeah. Then you're going to get all the benefits that have been withheld because you've been looking for them as the non-existent thing. They'll just come barreling in. Just remember me for a second, please. Please. All right. Well, I think that's it, eh? Anyone? Or we'll just start saying goodbye. Let's say goodbye. Kathleen, thank you for the archivist. Also, this week, we're going to be up in Auburn Saturday. I haven't seen Gary and stuff. I may have to look for those numbers. But we're going to be doing a live meeting in Auburn, California. It's about 2 hours north of where I am. It's being held at my friend Maria's house, and the info's on the website. We'll have the regular Zoom at 1, but we'll be live. We'll be live somewhere else instead of my house. It'll be up there.
Shout to Kathleen, it was her idea to digitize it.
Shout out to Kathleen for
Thank
what?
you.
Whatever.
Thank you, Amelia. Mia.
Get it all digitized.
Oh, that's good. Yeah. Well, she knows I'm in the thank you, thank you, thank you. Just go and play Vlad's song and just
Yeah. That's all I need.
thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you. Yes.
Yep.
Allie.
Yeah, thank you,
See,
Paul.
I
It was
don't know if your
beautiful.
knee's feeling better, but you are, I can tell right now. There you go. Stephen Mack. It's a pleasure, Stephen, to spend some time with you, with all of you, really. David, as always, holding up down under. Raven, fantastic. Yeah, get that acupuncture on. Yeah, check it out. Anu, always a pleasure, Anu. Clifford, nice to see you, brother, holding the fort. Still in Chiang Mai. Ah, great, great. Fantastic. Judy Love. Hey, Clifford, do me a favor. You can send me some information of you because I would love to take Amelia to Thailand. Yeah, and when we're in Chiang Mai, we'd get in touch with you.
Hold on.
Yeah, because I'd like to, if we go on a trip, I think it would be nice to take her to Southeast Asia.
Paul, can you hear me?
Yes.
I just pressed the mute button and so I didn't hear what you said.
Oh, I was talking about sending me some information because we may, I can't say if we are, but we may come to Thailand in
All
the,
right.
and I want to show her around. I spent a lot of time in Chiang Mai, and
Yeah.
we'll get in touch with you there.
Okay.
Yeah. Yeah. It's just a
Okay.
possibility.
Yeah,
Thank you.
yeah.
Yeah.
Thanks, Paul.
You're welcome. Judy, love, as always. Yeah. Watch out. Someone may be climbing up that hair. Yeah. Alan Olson. Yes. He's asleep, dreaming he's going to get it. Susanna W. The ceiling looks pretty good, Susanna. Susan Harris. Always a pleasure, Susan. Thank you. Ernie, a little bit of willingness goes a long, long way. There she is, Susanna. Hey, Susanna, you want to babysit our house on Saturday?
This Saturday?
Yes. We need someone to take care of the dog, maybe.
For the whole day?
No.
No, you can just drop in. You don't have to come.
Oh,
You
yeah,
just have to go to the bathroom. Yeah,
let
we'll
me,
talk.
yeah.
All right. I know,
Okay.
and make sure you answer when I call you. Don't give me the rope a dope with the voice. I've fallen for that one. Robert Crossman, how are you? Eric down in Vista, yes. It's a dog. Hey, listen, thank you so much. It's a pleasure to see all of you. Yeah, I hope I get a chance to see a lot of you in person someday. Matthew, I miss Matthew Nelson. Nice to see you, Matthew. I think I got everybody. Hey, thanks. See you guys.
Wow.
Bye-bye.
Yeah, Paul.
Kathleen, thanks, Paul.
Thanks, Paul. Thanks, Kathleen.
Thank you.